Beautiful people, welcome to our 8th event. As we take a break and as we create the new norm during COVID-19. So, as I said, our 8th event, our TEAx series, TEAx Talk, Enhance, Advance, here at Ashford Tea Company, Savannah, Georgia. Another beautiful day here. I think it's 80 plus degrees here today. Beautiful. In what I call my paradise, second life location. So we're here to motivate, educate, and entertain. We have another great guest. I'm super excited about this guest as well. Good friend of Ashford Tea. Him and I get into some deep conversations on relationships and life in general as well. So I appreciate you guys joining us today. Thanks for stopping in. I hope you stay with me, that I think you will truly enjoy. We're gonna give some gifts and stuff away as well. So it's a win-win for everyone. So I hope you guys are out there practicing your safe social distancing and common sense guidelines with what we're dealing with. And I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and hopefully we can continue to give you some ideas of how to continue to practice safe and healthy body, mind, and soul. All right? You guys ready to go in today? All right, let's go in. Here in the South, iced tea is pretty much king when it comes down to tea itself. So we're going to talk about some tea, listen to some music, we have some great conversation with my special guest, Vaun Jackson, who is a relationship strategist. So I'm, again, very super excited about it. But I think you guys who joined me before are familiar with this guy here, our resident house musician, Jacob Evans. What's up, man? What's happening?
Chillin', man.
Don't try to get fancy. No hands, that type of thing.
What's up with you?
What's happening? I see you have your main squeeze in.
Yes, the main squeeze. Ruby, man. I'll never find another. What's up with you?
So what's going on? What has transpired? What has been happening here since we talked last week? Anything new you want to share with the people?
Well, so I hate to tell you now, I'm gonna have you wait like months, but I wrote the best song I've ever written in my life.
Hold up.
That's what I said.
Are you sure about that?
I said, but well, right now, currently to this day, it's the best one.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to ask you then. Okay, so why do you believe this one is your best one?
Okay. Well, musically, it's like the most ambitious thing I've ever done. Because I changed keys twice in the song. And that doesn't sound like anything, but for music nerds out there, you know what I'm saying? From going to most of my song having two chords for the whole song. This one has a lot of chords, and I changed keys. And that's musically. And then lyrically, it's an amazing song also. So I'm stupid proud.
Okay, all right. I can see it on your face. I can see your body language. You're very passionate about it. So you better come correct on this.
Yes, sir.
You better come correct. You understand what I'm saying? So is that something that we're gonna hear today?
Ooh, I can't. If 20 people requested, if 20 people asked for the new song, then I'll be good.
All right, so there's a challenge. I don't know, tattoo artists, you know, they have those challenge. That's right. Oh, there you go. There's a challenge. There's a challenge. Hey, 20 people. The other thing too is as we get into this, you guys are welcome to ask questions, especially when we start talking to our guests. If you have some questions, please don't be afraid to ask. And it could be off subject matter, but you know, please ask. This guy is, you know, he has an answer for everything. Believe me, when it comes down to relationships. Believe me. And if not, we'll figure something out. I know him and I will. We'll figure it out. We're trying to conquer the world. We're trying to help the world. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So I made up some iced tea today. So normally you and I share a little hot tea with iced tea. So I'm gonna put you kind of through a little bit more of a challenge, right, than normal. So this is some iced tea I made up for you, and this is it, loose. So you want to take a little aroma of that. Maybe you'll get an indication of some of the stuff if you don't know what it is from visual.
Wait. I feel like I should know. All right, so it smells like grape is in here. Looks like coconut.
Yeah, it is coconut.
Okay. I'm gonna say raspberry too.
No, but it looks a little bit raspberry, but there's some cranberry slices in it.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
So I pour it first. There you go. Now, I know you are a sugar guy, a sweet guy. So I don't know if I got it sweet enough for you or not, but you know, I know you always add more if you can. So those things that we talked about. So in that one, there's a little apple bits in there. There's some kiwi. There's some cherries. Did you say cherries? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then some cranberry slices and coconut flakes. We call that one Cloud 9.
It's funny because like as you were like saying the stuff that's in it, then I can like taste it.
Yeah.
Like it's cool.
Beautiful.
You should do that.
So you guys all geeked up about this new song, but we can't even hear this song.
Hey man, if 20 people, and that's a combination from both sides, Facebook and Instagram, 20 people requested, then I got you. Because it's actually about relationship.
Oh, beautiful. Fits in perfect.
Oh, it's all in your hands now.
So anything else going on this week? There's a lot of stuff going on in the world.
Ooh, I'm trying. I don't want to be the one to break the spade.
Right.
But since we're already talking about it, I'm still proud to be a black male.
Absolutely.
That's my positive. So let's keep it at that.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of stuff going on. I'll wait. I'll hold my little editorial for a little later. But you got something for us to listen to today?
But of course.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Evans.
We're gonna keep it true to the vein of relationships. This one is going good. Settle down now for a minute. Well, I wanna take you by the hand and hold you. I've waited so many nights to see you, and I wanna take all my problems out of you. Ooh, yes, I can do better than make love to you. Better than make you say my name. Please, please, please. Oh, don't you make me absent, babe. 'Cause I need love, 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 love. 'Cause I need love, 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 love. Ooh. Angel, like you're always packing and unpacking again. And I know that the hardest thing is to please you. Woo, 'cause you would bring most men to their knees. Yes, I can do better than make love to you. Better than make you say my name. Please, please, please. Oh, don't you make me have some better. 'Cause I need love, 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 love. 'Cause I need love, 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 love. I can do better than make love to you. Better than make you say my name. Please, please, please. Oh, don't you make me have some abrupt ending. May all your relationships be dope.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you, sir.
Well,
thank you, sir. That was very, very nice. Now, I'm going to ask you to try to share some of that tea over there.
Like to share my tea?
So again, this is the tea that Jacob and I are partaking in now. It's called Cloud 9, which is what us Americans call a herbal tea. But in the world, you guys may have heard me say this before, it's called a tisane, one more German, for I guess. And so all tisanes, majority of tisanes or herbals are caffeine free. There's a couple or so out there that has a stimulant that's similar to caffeine, but it's a little different, a little bit more healthy for you. But this one is caffeine free, not decaf. It has no caffeine whatsoever. So most herbals or tisanes are caffeine free. And most tisanes or herbals do not come from a tea tree plant. So they should not be called a tea. Again, most of us Americans, we call it tea. And I think most of the reason is because you bring in hot water to make it. So you're familiar with that being more of a tea if it's in a teacup, but it is a tisane. With that said, I am super excited to introduce you guys to our guest this week. He is a very good friend of Asher Tea Company. Him and I have become good friends, great conversation, and I know that we're not going to be able to cover a lot of the things that we would like to with this broadcast, but hopefully we'll continue to do this because there's a lot of layers to this. With that, I would like to introduce you guys to our guest, relationship strategist, Vaun Jackson. I know we're COVID-19, but I'm going to shake your hand.
Yeah, no doubt.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And feel free to partake in some of the tea Jacob poured for us. Thanks for being with us and coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for all your support. Take a little sip myself.
That's good.
I'll say so myself. It is very good. Very good. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me this And what is relationship strategies? How does this all fit?
So basically, I help singles and couples find their path toward harmony. That's in a nutshell. So with couples, what I do is an introspective look from an external perspective, if that makes sense. And I help them highlight their path toward harmony within the context of relating to one another. And with singles, I do something similar. We take what may be considered an aerial view into their lives and help them highlight their greatest path toward harmony. But not only that, also to highlight what their most difficult challenges toward, or their greatest obstacles toward harmony as well.
So from what I understand, so you do, before you get into the meat of this consultation, right? Or is that what it's called? Is that right?
Yeah, well, I call them love alchemy sessions.
Okay.
Essentially, it's a consultation, but with the twist. Many people refer to me as a relationship strategist, but my wife calls me the love alchemist. She came up with that term, so.
Well, that's what you are.
She said that's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So you try to find out where either the individual or the couple, where they are when you meet them, right? And then do you have a session there where you help them, or do you guys come back later to kind of get to some of the stuff? So how does that work as far as when you get involved in it?
You mean how do we proceed with the consultation?
Correct. So if I came to you and I said, hey, I'm having a challenge as an individual in my relationship,
Right.
or my partner and I, my wife and I are having some situations, do you ask me a series of questions, or do you wait for us all to get together? How does that?
Well, again, if it's an individual, then we set up a consultation, and typically it's over phone or Zoom, whichever they are most comfortable with. And same thing with couples. We don't. It's not like I meet you on the street and it's an on the spot thing. It's we sit down and we actually lay some. I gather information and we kind of map things out accordingly. And then, a day later or however whenever we can set it up, arrange an amicable time.
Very good. Very good. So from my understanding, I see you pretty much, and I follow you. So you're doing a lot of great things. And matter of fact,
thank you.
You were in, I guess, a broadcast or someone's event earlier this morning.
Yeah, busy.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. So when I didn't get a chance to catch it, I saw the marketing flyer for it. So what was just some of the things you guys talked about? Just highlight what was some of the stuff you guys talked about?
So it was the name of the show is Coffee with Rhonda.
Even though it's coffee, we're gonna let that go.
Right, we let that go this time. Young lady out of Dallas, and it was, we covered, my God, a myriad of things. I almost can't even remember.
Now, were you guys taking questions, or just amongst the
panel? Well, she would read some of the questions from the comment section on her Facebook page, but it was a blend of intimate relationships and business relationships, and we did a lot of drawing of parallels between the two. Because there are a lot of similarities. I mean, they're almost, I won't say one and the same, but there are a lot of parallels.
Right. One of the things that I talk about sometimes when I'm blessed enough to be able to go out and do some lectures, from the entrepreneur aspect, I tell them that, there's how they run their personal life, it's pretty much going to translate how the entrepreneur or business life. You just don't, take off your personal life hat and sit over here, and then put on your business life hat, and now it's going to change what you've been doing sort of in your personal life.
Right.
So that's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, it's and essentially any relationship. So there are various types of relationships. Of course, you have your intimate relationships, but and even that has layers to it. I mean, there's an intimate relationship is one that you have with your child or a sibling or your parents, but also, even on a deeper and more connected level with your intimate partner, a marriage, a spouse. But all of these relationships are an expression of the relationship that we first have with ourselves. because that's the most important relationship that we could ever have. And I say that it is humanly impossible to have a healthy relationship with anyone else if you don't first have a healthy relationship with yourself.
Yeah, I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
I talk about that all the time. And I try to get people to understand, and this might be, tough for people to kind of grasp as it comes out, but no one's going to love you more than you can love yourself.
Yeah.
No one can. And again, if you don't love yourself to the utmost, then how capable are you loving someone else?
Yeah. There's an African proverb that says, and it speaks to people who don't yet love themselves, but they love you. And there's an African proverb that says, be wary of the naked man that offers you a shirt. So yeah, you definitely, before you enter an intimate relationship with anyone, you want to first do a health check on them. Where do they stand with respect to their most important relationship with themselves? Because out of that will be born how we relate and how we connect to one another. And so if that person is on shaky ground, then you can expect a lot of turbulence in the relationship as you move forward with them.
And let me ask you this, because this might be kind of a loaded question, but most of the people that you come across from giving advice and recommendations from the relationship aspect, do you think most are on their journey to be better individually, or do you feel like they are more looking from that outside for validation for that inside? So meaning that, okay, well, this relationship will strengthen me, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there are a lot of people out here that are looking to fill a void, and so that void is filled with a lot of pain, and what they're looking to do is, in many cases, put a Band-Aid on that pain with a relationship, and they're looking for people to complete them in a sense. But a healthy relating is not about finding someone to complete you, but rather finding someone to share your completeness with.
Beautiful. I like that. I don't have to use that.
Yeah. Give me credit.
So with that, and this is only, so Ron and I are going to talk about some other stuff as well, but I kind of wanted to intro you guys to him and kind of see and feel, his passion for this and how important it is to him. And again, and I'm speaking for him. Him and I have talked on numerous occasions, but it's more than just being strong in a relationship. It's being strong within yourself. And those things spill over into everything you do. And I don't think sometimes we realize the power of that. How do you build that relationship with yourself first before you venture into some type of serious relationship. So we're going to talk about that a little more as we go along. But before we go to a break, I wanted him to briefly talk about it. I know everyone's, we got this. There's a lot of information out there, and a lot of things going on with this COVID-19 and this, sheltered in. So we all, whether we agreed with what was going on or not, it was something that we were all, we had to do. We had to be sheltered in. So, and I know just speaking of myself, you go from being able to have outlets outside of the home that you can kind of, break up. And I hate to say the word monotony, I hate to say that, but. You can break it up, and then when you get back together with your companion, your spouse, or whatever, it can be fresh again because you're able to go to work, able to go to the gym, able to go get a haircut, go to the beauty shop, or whatever on both sides. But for months, right, we couldn't do all those things.
Right.
So, how do you feel? Or just from even just talking to some of your clients, how do you think that helped or did not a relationship?
This pandemic is it's really an emotional health check, a mental health check, and it's a double-edged sword in many regards, because some couples have had a chance to grow closer. They've been able to take advantage of this time and spend some much needed time together to build on that, to strengthen the bond that they already had, so and improve upon their relationship. But in many cases, this forced time together has exposed some serious pain points. And so you have, unfortunately, a sharp increase in domestic violence, not only between intimate partners, but also between parents and children, because there's all of this activity is now confined to the domicile, the living environment. And so that outlet that you spoke of, we used to be able to go shoot pool if we want, go play ball, or whatever the outlet was, go to movies or whatever. And now everything is, we have to sit in front of the television, Netflix or whatever. And if we're operating from an unhealthy space and we're sharing an environment with other unhealthy minds, other unhealthy beings, then it's a powder keg. And what we're seeing all over the country is expressions of that. There've been a lot of my God, the domestic violence, like I said, is through the roof. And it hasn't been so good for a lot of us.
Yeah, I mean that's great the way you said, and hopefully people will be able to understand. Again, and I said when this COVID thing first started, to become stronger from all this and understand, some of the things that maybe you didn't recognize what you needed to work on, pre-COVID,
Right.
and be able to see, what, individually, and this is that whole, getting in touch and getting to know who you are as an individual. You say, what, I need to become better at these things. And just, take for example, what happened if, for whatever reason, you and your mate or whatever were the only two left, in the world. You go outside and it's just you two. And if you didn't have some type of point of preference or relationship prior to that, the chances of you two surviving,
They go down considerably.
they go down.
I don't remember. I don't know if this was. I don't remember what movie it was, but the reference to being in prison, and this COVID scenario, many people liken it to being in prison, and there's a choice that has to be made. Are you going to do the time, or is the time going to do you? And that's a decision. That's a conscious decision that has to be made. So those of us who are operating from a healthier perspective will do the time. But those of us who were not as well prepared, unfortunately, the time is doing them, is getting the best of them. And so, but even today, even just hearing what we're discussing now, you can turn that around whenever you decide to. You can decide right now, in this moment, that, up until now, I've had a bad time. Maybe I've come from an unhealthy and dysfunctional family line, but you can't control the dysfunction that you're a byproduct of, but you can make sure that it stops with you.
Perfect. Couldn't say that any better. Perfect. That's why you are this travel.
What
does your wife call you?
My wife calls me the love alchemist.
I love it.
Yeah, I like that.
I love it. So, because this is our eighth broadcast, and we never have enough time to talk about the stuff that we really like to. We get into it, and it just keeps growing and growing, and the conversation gets more and more interesting. I went ahead and pulled. We normally pull the raffle tickets for winners, and so I pulled one earlier, so we won't have to go through it. So Karen Kelly out of Hilton Head is our first winner, and she's going to win some tea and some teaware with that. So thank you for all your support with that. So congratulations, Karen Kelly out of Hilton Head, South Carolina. So also we're going to go ahead and let Jacob do his thing one more time. You ready for some more stuff? Yeah, man. I knew you got it. I knew you got it. I knew you got the goods. I knew you got it.
I want to copy that. Is that on CD? What you were just playing earlier?
Oh, no.
Oh man, is that yours?
Oh, no. I'll show you. If they didn't get to 20, I'll show you the song afterwards.
Okay.
And also, yeah, so please, so what was the challenge that you put out there?
It was 20 requests. If we ain't got them,
And the 20 requests, if there's 20 requests, what happens?
then I'll show you a song that isn't released and is not going to be released for months.
Okay. So that's the challenge. So whatever you guys gotta do, share, watch parties, whatever you gotta do to get it up, let's get it up to the 20. And so Jacob's gonna play another piece for us. Vaun and I are gonna relocate at the T bar there, and we're gonna talk some more about relationships. If you guys have questions, please ask. Feel free to do so. And I think I have a question. Yes.
From Ronnie Ashford, he asked whether you are sitting 6 feet apart.
It is an imagined 6 feet.
Right.
Imaginary 6 feet.
But we washed our heads and done all those other great things. Now, it's funny that he brings that up. So there's still a lot of information flowing, and as we get through this COVID-19 stuff, I think the experts are learning more and more stuff out. But if you notice strategically, one of the higher percentages of contracting this COVID-19 is sitting across from people. So you see, we're not sitting across from each other. And if we were to spray and we were whatever, it would go out toward the camera.
Thanks.
No, yeah.
Thanks.
So, but we are, and that's what I tell everyone is, you know what, practice common sense, stuff to go along with the guidelines as well. And again, I'm very comfortable with, this is an extension of my family, and I don't say that loosely. This is family.
And drink tea, you can boost your immune system.
All right. Amen. So without further ado, and that's my nephew who asked that question.
He said with love.
And with love from San Francisco. So Jacob Evans, guys.
Last night was the worst night, beginning of the end. Oh, baby, it began before, and here we go again. Well, things got so dramatic, and things got out of hand. Well, we said words we couldn't imagine, and I don't understand. No, here we go with the same old things. When things go wrong, oh, you always seem to blame me. But now I like to find what secrets hide in your mind. Where the end will go, will I ever know? Heaven only knows. Heaven only knows. Heaven only knows. Heaven only knows, yeah. What makes a night the best night? It's time for a second chance. We'll turn the beat up on repeat, and we can start to dance. Well, sometimes when we're talking, words get drowned out by the sound. Well, let's get back to touching. We'll get back on solid ground. Oh, let's hold hands like we all romance, and let's first kiss like the moment we first did. Well, can we make love like way back in the day, love? We can lose control, baby, don't say no. Heaven only knows. Heaven only knows. Heaven only knows. Oh, heaven only knows. Yeah. What makes a night the best night? It's time for a second chance. We'll turn the beat up on repeat, and we can start to dance.
Bravo.
Thanks, cuz. Let me see what we got for y'all. It's been weeks since you picked up the phone. I got a feeling that something's going on, but I leave it alone. Now I know that it's probably my fault, and the Lord knows that I've come on too strong. I had a feeling that you were too good to be true, so now it's just me and my imaginary you.
You think that one was the original? Well, you really like me.
Now, but you're going to give away, we're giving away your music too as well, right?
I will give you an original song for free, or a whole album. Actually, I'll just give you the whole album.
So Karen Kelly will get that as well.
Terry Tatton asked, how can we send a tip to the musician?
Oh, Lord.
Thanks for the music.
Cash App is Jacob Sandwich. I'm not gonna lie, I actually just sang you the original song that I wasn't supposed to. But you can't tell nobody but God, and He already knows. So if you're watching this and you heard that song, don't tell nobody. That was just for you and whoever else sees it. But yeah, Cash App Jacob Sandwich and yeah.
You said Cash App.
Yawns.
Now what does that Cash App say?
Jacob Sandwich, you gotta put a.
What's the Jacob Sandwich? I've been meaning to ask you that.
I can explain. I can explain everything. But just not with this camera here.
Okay.
Let me get you some.
So get us some looping going on with you. And you're welcome to join us over here if you like.
Sweet.
So welcome back. Vaun and I. I'm gonna put Vaun to the test a little bit on another tea, iced tea that we're gonna do. I introduced this tea to you guys softly, I think a couple of events, a few sessions ago. And it's something that I was trying to come up with a tea for the summer that would take the place of lemonade and be a more healthier alternative to it. So this is what it looks like for everyone. That's a loose tea, but this is, again, it's a tisane or an herbal that we call it tea, but it does not come from a tea tree plant, and it's caffeine free. Okay, so it's in this picture. So you can take a little aroma, indulge in the aroma of it.
This is not my strong suit.
Now, don't even worry about it.
I give it a shot. Lemon?
Yes.
Okay. That's neat when you say you're replacing lemon.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one's a
That
little
smells
tough.
good too.
That one's a little tough. But mainly it is. Lemon is kind of the main ingredient of it.
I can't really smell anything beyond the lemon.
So
to be honest.
lemon, because it's kind of, you got lemon, you got some sour apples in there, and then lemon peel, so lemon peels in there, so it's very lemony.
Yeah.
And then some little red curry in there, okay?
That smells good.
So I'm gonna do you on this one, because I know you started on this one over there with Jake.
Alright.
And then we also have a little Madeleine here, a little French cake to go along with it. And I think I'll do my own honors here. So now you can kind of get a taste and see, and you can tell me what you think of the lemon aspect of it.
Alright.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
You did that? Yeah, I did the blend and everything.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
What y'all got going on?
oh, of course you're gonna sneak over here, aren't you? You're gonna sneak over here. When it comes down to tea, that free tea. And you told me you wanted dessert, but if you want to partake in that, you feel free to.
Oh, that's strong. That's a strong lemon.
So the aroma's parts of it. Now is it as strong as it is on your palate as it was? Say yeah.
It's right. The smell is strong, but this taste is actually.
Yeah, very subtle.
Yeah.
So I come across, on this journey of mine for 20 years, there's certain teas and tisanes that the bouquet of it, the aroma of it can be very loud, but once I steep it or brew it and infuse it, the taste is very subtle.
Yeah.
Then I also come across the opposite, where the aroma of the bouquet is very, very light, but once I made it and steeped it and brewed it, it was loud on my palate. So
So you're a tea alchemist.
you go. Yeah, that's what my wife calls me.
She will now.
So I'm also going to do a hot tea for you guys too as well.
Only without a girlfriend or a wife.
I'm going to make a hot tea, and I kind of like, and you can do either or, hot or cold with dessert, but I kind of like more warm tea with dessert. So we have a little dessert here. Yeah, and that one is very nice. So I'm doing what I call a taibi. It's a green tea and some mangoes, some papaya in there, but it's one of our most popular green teas. So that same thing is in this infuser basket for the teapot. And some of you guys probably have seen this before who have joined the broadcast previously. And I'm just gonna sit it down here in the teapot and let it steep. So I kind of fill the teapot up with water halfway, and then I'm gonna just kind of top it off to saturate the leaves some more. And we'll partake in that. So I'm gonna set my timer while that's steeping. We got this young fella here with us today, Jacob Evans. You know, and
With the golden voice.
with the golden voice and the magic fingers there on the strings. So relationships, I know for me on my journey, you know, and I call my personal journey living life to the T. You know, not living it perfectly, but living it with purpose. And I know we talked about as we strengthen ourselves, then these relationships that we are able or blessed with, they become strong as well. But for me, some of the challenges is being able to work on myself, right, and then also have entered into my life that I want to have some type of relationship with. So how do we continue to strengthen our independence and our individuality, yet also strengthen this relationship that we, however, came about or in?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I don't know that you necessarily have to make an effort to manufacture those two things independently. I think that you work on both of those things, and then it'll manifest in however it does. So, in other words, I'm always working on self-improvement. I'm always challenging myself to do better and to be better. And then also, I'm always working to strengthen my relationship with my wife. I don't sit down and measure, 70-30 or 50-50. I just see the areas that need addressing, and then I address those areas, whatever percentage it may bear out to be. And so I think that's more constructive than necessarily trying to measure one part this versus 4 parts that. I hope that answers the question.
And I kind of, and you and I think we brought this up before, but we never kind of, addressed it, kind of head on.
Yeah.
And I know for me, is that, and again, I agree with you to a certain, but to me, it depends on, I think, the individual's pain, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the more. So there's a saying: if you don't heal from what hurt you, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you. And so, first and foremost, again, we talk about dealing with that primary relationship, which is the one with self, and then from that is born out of all other relationships. The quality of all other relationships are born out of that. So if I'm dealing with an excessive amount of pain versus, let's say, Jacob here, who may not have experienced as much pain as I have, well, I have much more. In that instance, I have much more internal work to do than Jacob might have to. So then I might have to spend more time working on myself and healing that part of myself, whereas he gets to enjoy much more free time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, and I know, again, the only person I can truly talk about, and know what I'm truly talking about is myself, and my journey and my truth. And I know for me, the better that I can work on myself individually, right? I think the better I became toward whatever relationships that I was blessed with in my life, right? So whether that's, a girlfriend, a wife, a friend, a brother, a sister, and cause, transparency and putting it out there. I was really, hurting from a period of being a kid. And there was pain that I dealt with from a kid. And this is as Wayne sees the world. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So as Wayne sees the world, and I took that, for the most part of my young man life, I took that pain as a kid and it went with me on my journey as a young man. And because it went with me on my journey as a young man, I think some of the relationships that, again, came into my life for whatever reason. I'm not just talking about, girlfriend, boyfriend. I'm talking about just, put it all in a big bucket and just relationships. All those relationships that we had as human beings and individuals. I don't think I was able to embrace and enjoy and be at peace with them because I wasn't at peace. And one of the hardest things for me was to do is to be able to build those potential relationships because I was so doggone confused with me. And that's why I say, and we talked about earlier about getting to know who you are is probably the most ultimate thing of a relationship. And even, and I say this too, with love, and not just not just at the beginning, because it's just, if you want longevity in any relationship.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it's not about passion, it's about, okay, I want long relationships. And that's why it's so important now. You know, so that's why that question came to be, is that I know I worked on me for such a long time, and once I continue to live life to the T, or live life purposely, and get to know myself, ins and outs, and you know what I could tolerate, what I couldn't tolerate, those type of things, then all these other things that I wanted to share with, or be a part of who I was, they got better.
Yeah, naturally.
They got better. But I don't know if most people know how to do that. I don't know if, you know, like you said, you know, break. I don't know if they know if they should break it up, or if they, you know, if they should attack it individually. You know, but I know for the most part on my journey, I talk to so many, I know you have talked to so many people that's in so much pain, and some of that pain, they come to you for relationships, right? But some of that pain is not just relationship, you know, issues,
Right.
or companion issues.
Yeah.
You know, there's some other stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
So that's why that question came to me.
Yeah.
So
It's baggage. You know, we bring a lot of, for lack of a better term, baggage. And, you know, baggage isn't all bad, but the thing about it is, if you don't open it, if you don't unpack that baggage, then it's just dead weight that you're carrying around, hoping to get better without trying to dig into what it is that caused that pain. So again, baggage, you have to, in other words, it's like if you were to take a river ride using a canoe, you don't get out of the river at the end of that ride and carry the canoe on your back, because once you've completed the journey, the canoe is useless, right? And the same thing with baggage. As you go from one relationship to the next, you have to first, I would say, before you even begin the next relationship, you need to unpack the different pain points, the different issues that you might have encountered from the previous relationship before you can begin healthily in the next relationship.
yeah, no, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, from again the experience that you have from you being the strategist and out there expert in relationships, what would you say the percentage of the people who continue to take, who don't unpack that baggage?
I don't know how to put a number on it, but I would say the overwhelming majority. Because most people, I don't think most people even know to do that, to be honest with you. I think, again, most people are looking to get over one person by getting under another. And that's unfortunate, because we're dragging the pain from the previous relationship into the next relationship, and we're charging the new person to fix us in many cases, when the onus is on you to fix yourself. I mean, nobody can really do that work for you but you. People can help, but ultimately, I mean, it has to, there is a ancient Egypt, right? I mean, this ancient Egypt is world renowned for introducing us to all kinds of science, math, astrology, astronomy, medicine, all kinds of things. But even in that, in all of what they introduced to the world, above the doorways to their learning institutions, they had first know thyself. And so, going back to the point that you made, first knowing thyself and having a healthy relationship to oneself, all other healthy relationships emanate from that. And the converse to that is, if you fail to establish a healthy relationship with yourself, you will fail to establish a healthy relationship with anyone else.
And I know for me, going on a journey in addressing the things I needed to work on, I'm saying addressing, actually, finding and coming to grips and acknowledging the things I need to work on was probably one of the biggest challenges on that type of journey. And again, just from the conversations I've had with people over my lifetime, I found out that for the most part, there's a lot of people out there like me, you know, who don't even want to come to grips with what they need to work on.
Introspection is painful for a lot of people, and to re-examine those old wounds, you know, that even that examination alone, just looking at those things from an honest perspective, and then owning the part in those wounds that belong to us. You know, that alone can be painful, and sometimes even revisiting that thing can reintroduce the trauma that we experienced going through that relationship. So, to your point, this is why a lot of people never even go back to analyzing, doing an accurate self-assessment, and then trying to figure out what it is that they need to overcome that.
And I try to use an example. I talk to people sometimes about how to do exactly what you said, and it's a free action that you can partake in, that you can make a conscious effort to say, we're made to do our taxes every year. You gotta file your taxes, do your taxes. You either pay someone or you do it on your own, right? But so why don't we take an assessment? So whether we want to or not, we take assessment of our finances at the end of the year. Right. But why don't we do something similar with who we are as individuals?
Right. I mean, I used to be an electrician when I was in the military, and it's like current flow. You know, electricity, current flow. It takes the path of least resistance. And I think as human beings, we do something very similar. We take the path of least resistance. And so we're forced to do our taxes or else. But if I don't do a self-assessment, there's really no penalty. Nobody's challenging me or taxing me for something if I don't do that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the other side to that is the penalty for that is my inability to relate to anyone else on a healthy level. But I can disguise that. I can put on nice clothes and jewelry, and I can pretend that the problem is you. Right? So, I don't know, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, and this is what we try to do here at Ashford T. We really try to get you information and talk to great guests like Vaun to get you to think about how you build a healthy mind and body. And I believe that, the actions that we put forth, especially when it comes down to bettering yourself as an individual, they help everything that we so wish and we so desire. Because I think you're able to find those things as long as you are getting up every day trying to become a better you. You're able to recognize the things that are around you. You're able to tune in and sharpen your present, your they say stay in the now, know what you got going on in the now to help you get to the future, okay? So again, I knew we weren't gonna have enough time to continue to, talk about these things. Vaun is gonna continue to come back, and I hope you guys will join us again. I don't know if Vaun has people wanna find you, reach out to you.
So for your guests, I want to offer a free love alchemy session, whether you're single or couple. So if you're interested in that session, if you feel like I've offered anything that added value to your life, feel free to email me at info@theconditionsoflove.com, info@theconditionsoflove.com. You can connect with me on Facebook or Instagram at Vaun_says, kind of like Simon Says, but hopefully I'm a little better. And I think that's it.
So now we'll put that up on our pages, on social media pages too as well for you guys to find. Before I go, Vaun Gibson is the other winner for our raffle, and he will get some tea.
Special thank you to Mr. Gibson.